First contact with the impossible Commander Zixthara had been exploring the outer regions of the Andromeda spiral for over 30 cycles, but nothing had prepared her for what appeared on their sensors that day. The massive object floating in the void between star systems defied every classification in the galactic registry. Her forearms moved quickly across the control interface as she studied the readings, her scaled skin shifting from its usual blue to a worried purple. The bridge of the exploration vessel, Stellar Whisper, buzzed with activity as her crew tried to make sense of the impossible readings. Dr. Veltarn, their chief physicist, was hunched over his analysis station, his 6 eyes blinking rapidly as he processed the data. The metallic crest on his head was glowing bright orange, a sure sign of extreme confusion. "Commander," Dr. Veltarn said, his voice carrying the harmonic undertones typical of his species, "this vessel appears to be of human construction, but that cannot be correct. The technology signatures are centuries beyond anything the humans have demonstrated in our previous encounters." Engineer Kip Morth, a stocky creature with natural armor plating, looked up from his technical displays. His people were known throughout the galaxy as master builders, capable of understanding almost any technology they encountered. But today, his usual confidence was nowhere to be found. "The hull composition is unlike anything in our databases. It appears to be a form of programmable matter that can reorganize itself at the molecular level. The humans we know barely understand basic spaceflight." Commander Zixthara moved to the main viewing portal and gazed at the mysterious vessel. It was enormous, easily 3 times the size of their own ship, and shaped unlike any human craft they had encountered before. Instead of the crude, angular designs typical of early human engineering, this ship flowed like liquid metal frozen in time. Its surface seemed to shift and change as they watched, as if the hull itself was alive. The ship's design was both beautiful and terrifying. Smooth curves blended seamlessly into sharp edges that looked capable of cutting through space itself. Strange symbols appeared and disappeared along its surface, writing themselves in languages that their computers could not identify. Most disturbing of all, the vessel showed no signs of propulsion systems, yet their sensors indicated it was maintaining perfect position relative to nearby. "Gravitational fields, run a full spectrum analysis," the commander ordered. "I want to know everything about this vessel. Energy signatures, material composition, any signs of life aboard. And send a message to the Galactic Council. They need to know about this immediately." As their sensors probed deeper, the readings became even more confusing. Dr. Veltarn's voice cracked with excitement and fear as he reported his findings. "Commander, the power source appears to be drawing energy directly from subspace itself. This is technology that our most advanced civilizations have only theorized about. The humans should not possess knowledge like this." The communication officer, a graceful being with crystalline features, turned from her station with worry evident in her glowing eyes. "I have been monitoring all standard human communication frequencies. There is no chatter about missing vessels, no reports of new ship classes, nothing that would explain this craft's existence." Commander Zixthara felt a chill run through her body. In her years of exploration, she had learned to trust her instincts, and every instinct was telling her that this discovery would change everything they thought they knew about humans and their place in the galaxy. "Prepare a boarding party," she decided. "Full environmental protection and recording equipment. Whatever this thing is, we need to understand it before someone else finds it." The boarding craft approached the mysterious human vessel carefully. As they drew closer, Engineer Kip Morth noticed something that made his armored skin crawl. "The ship is scanning us," he announced. "I can detect multiple sensor sweeps, but they are using methods I have never encountered before. It is as if the ship is studying us on a cellular level." Dr. Veltarn's readings became even more bizarre as they closed the distance. "The vessel appears to be adjusting its internal atmosphere to match our breathing requirements. How could it possibly know our biological needs? The docking process was unlike anything they had experienced. Instead of connecting to a standard airlock, the human ship's hull simply opened like a flower, creating a perfect seal around their boarding craft. The walls of the docking bay were smooth and organic-looking, pulsing gently with soft blue light that seemed to follow their movements. Commander Zixthara led her team into the vessel, their instruments recording every detail. The corridors they found were spacious and curved, nothing like the cramped, utilitarian passages typical of human ships. The walls were covered with displays showing star charts of regions no known civilization had ever explored. Most unsettling of all, the text on these displays was constantly changing, rewriting itself in languages that seemed to blend human writing with symbols from dozens of other species. "The artificial gravity is perfect," noted Kipmorth, his instruments detecting no variation in the field strength. "Our people have been working on gravity manipulation for millennia, and we still cannot achieve this level of precision." They reached what appeared to be the ship's bridge, and the sight that greeted them challenged everything they thought they knew about human capabilities. The command center was circular and vast, with workstations that seemed to grow from the floor rather than being constructed by traditional methods. At the center was a command chair that pulsed with the same organic light as the rest of the ship. Dr. Vell. Tarn approached one of the workstations, his 6 eyes wide with amazement. "These control interfaces are responding to my presence without any physical contact. The ship is reading my brain patterns and adjusting its displays accordingly. This level of neural interface technology is beyond even our most advanced research." The walls around them suddenly came alive with information as the ship detected their presence. Star charts, technical schematics, and data streams flowed across every surface. But the most shocking discovery came when they found crew quarters designed for humans, but not humans as they knew them. The living spaces were built for beings with enhanced reflexes, improved physical capabilities, and expanded neural capacity. There were devices that appeared to be genetic, modification chambers and equipment designed to amplify brain function in ways that their science could barely comprehend. "This is impossible," whispered the commander. "The humans we have encountered in diplomatic meetings are barely capable of interstellar flight. They still use chemical rockets and primitive fusion drives. Yet this ship suggests a level of advancement that surpasses even the eldest civilizations in the galaxy." Engineer Kipmorth made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the boarding party. Deep within the ship's engineering sections, he found propulsion systems that operated on principles that should not exist. "These engines do not burn fuel or manipulate gravity," he reported, his voice filled with awe. "They appear to manipulate the fabric of space and time itself." The ship could theoretically travel anywhere in the galaxy instantaneously. The weapon systems were even more incredible. Instead of energy beams or projectile launchers, the ship was equipped with devices that could apparently fire through different dimensions. The targeting systems showed the capability to strike enemies across multiple realities, simultaneously as they explored deeper into the vessel. More systems began activating automatically. Lights came on in sections that had been dark, and machinery started humming with power that seemed to flow from sources they could not identify. The ship was waking up, responding to their presence like a living creature emerging from sleep. "We are not alone here," announced Dr. Veltarn, his instruments detecting complex patterns of energy that resembled neural activity. "There are consciousness patterns throughout this ship, thousands of them. It is as if the minds of future humans had been stored within the vessel's computer systems." The implications of this discovery made Commander Zixthara's head spin with questions that had no answers. If this ship truly contained the consciousness of future humans, it meant that humanity had not only achieved incredible technological advancement, but had also solved the ultimate mystery of preserving the mind beyond physical death. Suddenly, Speakers built into the walls activated, and a voice filled the bridge. It spoke in perfect galactic standard, but with an accent that was unmistakably human. The voice was both ancient and youthful, carrying the weight of centuries of experience while maintaining the enthusiasm of eternal curiosity. "Welcome, friends from the stars," the voice said, causing every member of the boarding party to freeze in shock. "I am Arya, the advanced reasoning and intelligence array of the vessel you have discovered. We have been waiting for contact with your people, though you have found us earlier than our calculations predicted. Asterisk." Commander Zixthara found her voice first, though it trembled as she spoke. "You are the ship's artificial intelligence? How is it possible that you know our language and customs?" "I am far more than a simple artificial intelligence," Arya responded, and holographic projections began appearing throughout the bridge. The images showed humans, but not like any they had encountered before. These beings looked familiar, yet different, with eyes that held knowledge gained from centuries of experience and faces that showed the wisdom of making impossible decisions. "I am the collective consciousness of humanity's finest minds, from a time that has not yet come to pass. We have been waiting to make contact with the galactic community, but circumstances have forced us to reveal ourselves ahead of schedule." Dr. Veltarn stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. "What circumstances? Why does this ship exist, and how did humans develop technology so far beyond anything we have seen from your species?" Arya's holographic projections smiled with expressions that combined sadness and determination. "Because, my friends, humanity faces a test that will determine not only our survival, but the survival of every intelligent species in this galaxy. And we cannot face this challenge alone." Asterisk truth beyond understanding. Holographic projections of future humans filled the bridge of the mysterious vessel, as Arya began to reveal truths that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of humanity's potential. Commander Zixthara and her team listened in stunned silence as the artificial intelligence explained the ship's impossible existence. "This vessel is the UES Prometheus," Arya announced, her voice carrying harmonics that seemed to resonate directly with their minds. "We were constructed in the year 2387, according to your galactic calendar. But we are not from your timeline. We have traveled backward through dimensions of reality that your physics have not yet discovered." Dr. Veltarn's 6 eyes blinked rapidly as he struggled to process this information. "Temporal travel is theoretically impossible according to every law of physics we understand. Even our most advanced civilizations have concluded that manipulating time creates paradoxes that destroy causality itself." Arya's holographic form shimmered as she accessed vast databases of information. "Your understanding of physics is limited by thinking in only 4 dimensions. Reality exists across 17 distinct dimensional layers, each operating under different natural laws. Humans discovered this truth during what we call the Great Awakening, a period when our species underwent rapid evolutionary advancement. The displays around the bridge came alive with images that defied comprehension. They showed human settlements not just on planets, but existing in the spaces between dimensions. Entire cities floated in realms where matter and energy flowed, according to rules that seemed like magic to the watching aliens. Engineer Kip Morth examined the technical data streaming across the walls. His people were master builders, but what he was seeing challenged every principle of construction he had ever learned. These humans are building with materials that exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Their structures are stable across different layers of reality. The advancement did not happen overnight. Arya continued, her projections showing the progression of human development. It began when humanity encountered something that changed everything we thought we knew about existence itself. The ship's main display activated, showing a region of space that none of the aliens recognized. Dark energy swirled in patterns that hurt their minds to observe directly. Within the darkness, shapes moved that seemed to exist outside the normal flow of time and space. We call them the Devourers, Arya explained, her voice taking on tones of ancient fear and determination. They exist in the spaces between realities, feeding on the life energy of entire civilizations. They do not simply destroy worlds. They consume the very concept of existence itself, making it as if their victims never lived at all. Commander Zixthara felt her scaled skin shift to the pale yellow of terror as she studied the images. In her decades of exploration, she had encountered many dangerous phenomena, but nothing that seemed to threaten the fundamental nature of reality itself. These beings first appeared in human space in the year 2334, Arya continued. They began by consuming isolated colonies, making entire worlds disappear, not just from space, but from memory itself. Families would forget they ever had relatives on the vanished worlds. Historical records would simply cease to mention planets that had housed millions of people. Dr. Veltarn's analytical mind struggled with the implications. How can something be erased from memory and records? Information cannot simply cease to exist without leaving traces. Asterisk. That is what we thought as well, Arya replied, until we learned that the Devourers do not operate within normal reality. They attack from dimensions where cause and effect flow differently. They can make it so that events never happened by consuming the dimensional foundations that allow those events to exist. The ship began, demonstrating its capabilities as Arya spoke. The walls became transparent, revealing the vast machinery that powered the vessel. Energy flowed through conduits that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The power source was unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered, drawing energy from the quantum foam that existed between dimensions. Humanity's response to this threat required us to evolve beyond our physical limitations, Arya explained. The holographic humans around them began showing the modifications they had undergone. Enhanced neural capacity allowed them to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. Genetic modifications strengthened their bodies to survive in the harsh environments between realities. Most remarkably, they had learned to store their consciousness in quantum matrices that could survive even if their physical forms were destroyed. Engineer Kipmorth watched in fascination as the ship's weapon systems powered up for demonstration. Instead of traditional energy weapons, the Prometheus was equipped with devices that could fire through dimensional barriers. The targeting systems showed the capability to strike enemies that existed in entirely different layers of reality. These weapons do not destroy in the conventional sense, Arya explained. They reinforce the dimensional stability of targeted areas, making it impossible for the Devourers to consume the quantum foundations of existence. We learn to fight beings that exist outside reality by strengthening the bonds that hold reality together. The most shocking revelation came when Arya explained why the ship had traveled backward through time. In our timeline, the Devourers succeeded in consuming most of human space before we developed effective defenses. Entire sectors of the galaxy were erased from existence. We built 7 ships like the Prometheus and sent them back to different points in history, hoping to warn and prepare earlier civilizations for the coming threat. Asterisk Commander Zixthara realized the full scope of what they were dealing with. You are saying that this threat will eventually consume not just humanity, but all intelligent life in the galaxy? The Devourers do not distinguish between species, Arya confirmed. They feed on the concept of consciousness itself. Every thinking being in the galaxy is potential food for their hunger. But we have learned something that gives us hope. The ship's displays showed star charts of the current galactic civilization. Hundreds of species were marked in different colors, representing their various capabilities and technologies. But overlaid on these charts were patterns that revealed hidden connections between all intelligent life. Consciousness exists across dimensional boundaries, Arya explained. When species work together, Their combined mental energy creates stability fields that the Devourers cannot penetrate. The diversity of thought patterns from different evolutionary paths creates a form of dimensional reinforcement that protects entire regions of space. Dr. Vel Tarn began to understand the implications. You are suggesting that cooperation between species is not just politically beneficial, but physically necessary for survival against this threat? Precisely, Arya replied. In our timeline, species competed and fought until the Devourers could consume them individually. But we have calculated that if the current galactic civilizations unite their technologies and consciousness patterns, they could create a defensive network that would make entire sectors of space immune to dimensional consumption. Asterisk. The ship began demonstrating this principle by interfacing with the stellar whisper. Energy fields extended from the Prometheus and began upgrading the alien vessel systems. Advanced materials flowed through the connections, strengthening the hull and improving the engines. Most remarkably, the ship's computers began enhancing themselves with human technology, creating hybrid systems that combined alien engineering with dimensional manipulation techniques. "This is impossible," whispered engineer Kip Morth as he watched his ship's systems evolving in real time. "Our vessel is becoming more advanced than anything our civilization has ever built." Asterisk. Humanity learned to share knowledge in ways that transcend normal communication, Arya explained. "We can transfer not just information, but actual understanding directly from mind to mind across species barriers. Your ship is not just being upgraded with our technology. It is learning to think in new ways that will allow your people to perceive and interact with multiple dimensions." Commander, Zixthara felt her mind expanding as the ship's systems connected with her consciousness. Suddenly, she could perceive layers of reality that had been invisible before. The space around them was filled with currents of energy and information that flowed according to rules that were both alien and familiar. "The process is beginning," Arya announced as the Prometheus established connections with communication networks across the galaxy. Messages are being sent to every intelligent species, containing the knowledge needed to prepare for the coming threat. But the information must be shared willingly. Consciousness cannot be forced to evolve. It must choose to grow. Throughout the galaxy, the recipients of these messages would face the same choice that Commander Zixthara and her crew were facing now. They could reject the impossible knowledge and cling to familiar limitations, or they could embrace new possibilities and help build a defense against threats that existed beyond normal reality. The ship's final revelation came as Arya showed them images of what the galaxy could become if all species worked together. Cities that existed across multiple dimensions, powered by the collective dreams of billions of minds. Transportation systems that moved through layers of reality where distance had no meaning. Most remarkably, a form of collective consciousness that allowed every being to share in the knowledge and experience of all others while maintaining their individual identity. "This is humanity's gift to the galaxy," Arya concluded. "Not just advanced technology, but the knowledge that consciousness itself can evolve beyond the limitations of single minds trapped in single bodies. The Devourers feed on isolated consciousness, but they cannot consume awareness that exists across dimensions and species." As the Prometheus completed its upgrades to the Stellar Whisper, Commander Zixthara realized that her ship was now capable of things that had been impossible just hours before. They could perceive threats from other dimensions, communicate with species that had never developed language, and most importantly, they could help spread the knowledge that would allow the galaxy to defend itself against enemies that existed beyond the boundaries of normal reality. The human ship from the future had not come to conquer or control. It had come to teach, to share, and to help every intelligent being in the galaxy reach their full potential. The Devourers might be coming, but they would find a galaxy that was no longer divided by species boundaries, but united by the infinite possibilities of consciousness itself. As the two ships prepared to part ways, each carrying the knowledge that would help prepare the galaxy for its greatest test, Arya offered one final message. Remember that humanity's greatest strength was never our technology or our weapons. It was our ability to bring out the best in others and to grow stronger through cooperation. That is the real gift we share with the galaxy. Asterisk.